Alex Ovechkin continues to inch his way towards Wayne Gretzky's goal-scoring record as the Great Eight tries to take down the Great One. Hey everyone, welcome into Off the Post. Rob Wong, joined alongside by Steve Simmons and Bruce Garrioch. And guys, we spoke earlier this year about whether this would be the season that Alex Ovechkin would break Wayne Gretzky's goal-scoring record, much to Bruce's chagrin. But Ovi needs just 13 more to sit atop the mountain. So that, of course, spawns the question I think a lot of people are having right now. Does Alex Ovechkin belong on hockey's Mount Rushmore if he ends up breaking this record, which it looks like he will? Steve, we'll start with you. I know it's a big question, but I think a lot of people are wondering about it right now.
So here's the way you look at it. Is he better than Wayne Gretzky? Better goal scorer? Yes. Better player? No. Better point getter? No. So number one on Mount Rushmore is we have that spot for Wayne Gretzky. Now we're getting the second spot. And on my Mount Rushmore, that's Bobby Orr, who you could put first if you want to have an argument the other way, who played the game like no one else. Maybe no one will ever play it again. And is Ovechkin better than Bobby Orr? No. So now let's get to number three, our friend Mario Lemieux in Pittsburgh, who did things on the ice. He might be the most talented player who ever played, most talented forward who ever played. Just an exceptional player. So there's your third guy. And every old-time hockey guy I speak to, from Scotty Bowman to everybody else, puts Gordie Howe in that list. In fact, many of them have Gordie Howe ahead of Gretzky and Orr and Lemieux. So I'm not going to argue too much with Scotty Bowman. So those are my four, if there's four on a Mount Rushmore. Now if you're going to a five, is it Sidney Crosby? Is it Connor McDavid? Is it Alex Ovechkin? Like, that's where you might get into an argument. But if your Mount Rushmore doesn't have 7 spots or 6 spots or even 8 spots, then I don't think there's a place for Ovechkin here.
How many are on the actual Mount Rushmore? Aren't there 4 presidents?
4. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and they'll have to make room for Donald Trump, so that'll be 5.
No, they're going to call it. It's going to be called Mount Trump.
Anyway, where were we? Look, you know what? It's kind of funny though, Steve, because that's my Mount Rushmore. Would be the 4 guys you named. Probably not in that order. I probably would have gone Gretzky, Howe, or Lemieux. And I think if you look at where Alex Ovechkin fits into that, I don't think he's a better player than Gretzky. He's going to be a better goal scorer because he's going to play long enough to make that happen. This is, but the fashion he did it in to get a hat trick yesterday, I've kind of felt through this whole chase that he's just playing to make this happen. But yesterday to score 3 goals, to get the hat trick, to me he showed he still got it. And there is something absolutely special about what he's doing. But would he be on my Mount Rushmore? I don't think so. Because it's funny you brought up Scotty Bowman, because when I was thinking about this yesterday, the whole when Rob sent us the question about Mount Rushmore, I'd like to find a spot for Scotty Bowman. Do you know what I mean? He's meant so much to the game. He's had so much success with several teams. He's still going strong. Like, to me, there's a guy who fits in. But as far as players go, those are my 4, no question. It's just the order.
Well, it's funny. We're waiting now for Ovi to who hit the record. And I suspect it's going to happen before the season ends now.
Oh, yeah.
That the numbers are going in his favor, and he's, everybody's pulling their goalies when they play Washington. Let's get him another empty net goal. He got, what was it? They were up 3 goals yesterday when Edmonton pulled the goalie. Like, what is that all about? But if you look at it big picture, this guy is the greatest goal scorer who ever played. And not only is he the greatest goal scorer who ever played, he scored his goals at a time when it was far more difficult to score than Gretzky. Gretzky had the 92 and the 87 and the 73 when teams were scoring 4 goals a game, when goalies were wearing pads that were about the size of my legs. There was a lot of room in the nets and a lot more scoring was happening. And I don't look at Wayne Gretzky, even though he has the record. I don't think of him as a goal scorer. I think of the greatest playmaker who ever played, the greatest creator of offense we've ever seen, which is why his points numbers are beyond ridiculous. But I don't think of Gretzky as, boy, you put the puck on his stick and bang, he's going to score. In Ovi's case, he lines up in his office. We've been watching it for 20 years. He's in the same place. All these brilliant coaches have tried to figure out a way to stop him. He moves 3 feet to his left. He moves 3 feet to his right. The puck gets on his stick and bang, it's gone. And one thing amazing about him, he doesn't miss the net. Like, you watch a lot of good players, they miss the net on scoring chances. They shoot over the net. They shoot wide. Ovi's like this guy. It just comes off of his stick. It comes off faster than anyone who's ever played. It probably comes off harder than anyone who's ever played. He's a monster of a guy. Like, you saw Gretzky. Gretzky was this little skinny kid. There wasn't a muscle on his body when he was scoring 200 points. Ovi is like a fullback in the NFL. He's like 240 and a tankish kind of player and strong enough that whatever he wants to do, he does. So yeah, give him credit for the ability to adjust through his eras, and it's more than one. And with the teams he's been on, when he started, he had Adam Oates as his center. And Adam Oates, one of the great passers I think who's ever played. He then winds up with Backstrom as his center, one of the great passers and offensive creators we've seen over the past. So I thought now there's no Backstrom, there's no Oates, their guys are gone. There's no real great center on the Washington Capitals. And what's Ovi doing? He's bloody scoring. It's like, it doesn't matter. He scores with Outs, he scores without him. He scores with Backstrom, he scores without him. He's now got Dylan Strome as his center. Like,
Yeah.
Dylan Strome is not going to the Hall of Fame with Backstrom and Oates.
Yeah.
But he's still scoring the bloody goals, and he's still scoring them from the places that you always saw him score from.
I was going to say, to Bruce's point, I mean, the fact that he's still doing what he's doing at this age is pretty remarkable. Heck, he just came back from a knee injury a couple of weeks ago, Bruce.
Beat me to it. Yeah. No, you
I mean,
beat me to it. Like you absolutely beat me to the next point, Rob. It's even, what he's doing this year is even more remarkable because when he got hurt, we figured, okay, well, he's not going to do this year. The chase will go on next year, and that's fine. We'll wait till next season. But now, I mean, not only might he set this record, he's on a team that might win the Stanley Cup, right? Like,
And remember what the team,
as ridiculous as that sounds, they're a Stanley Cup contender.
they're not just a Stanley Cup contender, they're the best team in the National Hockey League. If you watch them play on a nightly basis, they play hockey the right way every single night. They make very few mistakes. And I thought last season and this season is going to be about nothing more than let's feed Ovi and get him the record.
Yes, me too.
And I thought when they made the playoffs last year with in Carberry's first year coaching, I thought, well, this is a fluke. It's never going to happen again. And he comes back, and they made about 8 player changes this year. Not one of them is one of those, oh my God, look who they signed guy. But every one of those small little changes, including the goalie they added, has worked out brilliantly for that team. And here's Ovi scoring, and not as Bruce points out, not only is he scoring, but that team, if I'm betting right now on any team in the NHL to win the Cup, that's my team to put money on, which almost certainly means that they will not win.
And not one player at the Four Nations face-off.
Yeah, which again, hockey.
All well rested.
Hockey's a team sport. More than any of the other sports, it's a team sport. And you can have your great player. You can have your Crosby or your Ovi or your McDavid. I mean, we watched yesterday or Sunday afternoon, McDavid and Draisaitl get absolutely trounced by whoever those guys are playing for the Washington Capitals and Ovechkin. It's like going to see a play on Broadway where somebody is the star, and then there's a bunch of other guys playing all the other parts, but they're all pretty good. You don't know any of their names. And that's what it's like with the Washington Capitals right now. But in Ovi's case, before I would always say Mike Bossy was the greatest goal scorer I ever saw. Now he didn't play long enough because of his back problems to get it. But if you look at his, I think goals per game, he's got the highest goals per game in hockey history. And had his back not gone bad on him, who knows what number he would have got to. But the thing about Bossy and Ovi, and I see it with Austin Matthews now, and not so much this year, but in other years, they goal scorers love to score. Like their face lights up when they score. And you saw Ovechkin on the weekend with the hat trick in front of his kid, right at the glass. And every time he scored, he went to the glass and gave his son a little, fist bump onto the glass. And I'm thinking to myself, what? He's still playing with incredible joy.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
what,
Yep.
he's not like we thought, oh, he's going to hang on till he gets the record no matter what. He's not hanging on. He's like seriously contributing, and he's playing with tremendous joy on this hockey team that he's probably getting great joy from watching all these guys whose names he may not even know.
You know what concerns me the most from what I've heard on this chat, though, is that I'm sitting in 70 centimeters of snow, and I think Rob's probably sitting in about 50 in Toronto because they probably got a little bit less than us. You, my friend, spent your Sunday afternoon in the Florida sun watching hockey. I think you need to get more sun
You
because
know,
you're clearly not thinking straight.
and yesterday, if any chance I get to watch the Oilers, I'll take it.
Yeah,
They play here Thursday night. They play the Florida Panthers Thursday night, and
awesome.
I've got tickets, and I'm going, and I can't wait. So it's
I
to me, it's like if you get a chance to watch greatness, and somebody mentioned this on the set. I'm going to quote the SAG Awards of all things last night. The screen, whatever they call it, it's the
Screen
union
Actor
of
Guild.
actors,
Yeah.
and Timothy Chalamet won Best Actor, and he got up there, and his speech was very different than you hear anybody make a speech. His speech was, "I love greatness, and I want to be a great." And he mentions Michael Phelps, and he mentioned athletes, and I thought it's cool for an actor to say that kind of thing, and that's the way I feel watching Ovi or McDavid or McKinnon or McCarr or any of those kind of guys. They're special. And we get a chance to see them, in their prime. And we were all expecting Ovi to just be standing beside the goal crease, not skating an inch, not playing, not working hard. Bang, I'll knock him in from here. And he's in there. He's banging guys. He's hitting
yeah.
guys. He's knocking them into the boards. He's doing all the Ovechkin things. So more credit, more power to him. But I'm still not putting him on my Mount Rushmore.
Well, no, me neither. And I think it's interesting because we didn't know what to expect from the Four Nations face-off, and what that first game against Sweden set the tone. I talked to Carey Price, and Carey Price said it looked to me like those guys were shot out of a cannon in the first 7 or 8 minutes of that game. The way McDavid was playing, and I think that to me was the unfortunate part was that you didn't have all of the best players in the world there. You had the best on best from Four Nations, but I can't wait to see the Olympic competition now.
Well, here's the politics of hockey right now. Over the next 3 weeks or maybe a month, all we're going to be talking about is Ovechkin. Did he score
That's
tonight?
right.
Will he score tomorrow? Russian talk, Russian talk, Russian talk. But we won't let the Russians play in the Four Nations because we.
Well, but you know what? Trump will get that settled, and everything. By the time we reconvene for the Olympics next year, Steve, all will be good.
Well, it might well be. There'll be a team. Whether they call, I mean, I watched
Yeah,
I watched a team called the Unified Team win a
exactly.
gold medal
Something's gonna
in
give.
'92. They were all Russians. Let's be clear here. But they were the Unified Team. They sat around and sang "Kumbaya." But to see, I want to see the best, as you say, and I want to see Czechia, with David
Yeah,
Pasternak.
me
I want
too.
to see,
I do too.
some of these other teams as well. I want to see what Germany will look like with
Well,
Drysdale.
I was gonna say, that tournament would have been so good with Tim Stützle and Leon Draisaitl.
Yep, the Fever
Anyway,
Four. international hockey definitely back after the Four Nations. But right now it's all Ovi all the time. We thank Bruce for giving us some time to chat about Ovi, because I have mentioned jokingly it's not his favorite subject, but I'm sure we'll talk about it again if Ovi breaks the record potentially later on this season. For Bruce Garrioch and Steve Simmons, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.